So what's upcoming for Old Nation? What's coming up soon? Is there anything big?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, we'll see how it's up to other people than me to decide whether or not it's big, I suppose. But Ken, I don't know if you fellas are members of the Detroit area craft beer enthusiasts.
Some of us are DACI.
We monitor.
I figure you might be.
We just linger.
That sounds,
or linger. No, lurkers.
Lurkers. That sounds better because monitor sounds like a moderator, and you're sitting there just waiting to just craft your yeast.
Inspectors.
Like,
no foul language.
Yeah. No. We just watch. We just watch.
So
some post.
This Detroit area craft beer enthusiast is a Facebook group, and it's huge. I mean, it's got like thousands of members.
Yep.
It's active, and the moderators are great. And at one point, there was this thread about these New England IPAs on there. Like Trillium and Tired Hands, and
I didn't see that. Whatever.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much every other week. Like Well, and if you ever see a trade right now, it's like for trade XYZ ISO New England IPA fresh.
Sounds like a personals ad.
Yeah,
pretty much. ASL, please.
Yeah, ASL. We're gonna chat with Yahoo chat.
It's an AOL chat.
Oh my god!
So they had this thread about these New England beers, and I think most people probably listening to this podcast are familiar with what they are. But just in case they're not, they're this really super aromatic and super hop flavored IPAs that aren't particularly bitter. They have this really pillowy kind of mouthfeel, and they tend to focus on citrus that are coming from these disco hops like Galaxy or whatever, Mosaic,
John Travolta, disco hops.
John Travolta.
Well, we call them in the brewery, we call them disco beers and disco hops.
Disco
they kind of come and go, people go crazy about them, and then nobody gives a shit.
Right.
But anyway, so we had there's this thread about these beers, right? And Nate, my brewing partner at Old Nation, he and I have been brewing for 8 years together. He also graduated from UC Davis, has been brewing for about 15 years.
Nice.
And I had researched these New England IPAs earlier in the year, this year, and gone down to like old scientific reports that came out of Sapporo about hop biotransformation and all this kind of stuff. And so anyway, we had done this research in this thread. It was, this guy asking essentially, why are they hazy and why do they taste like this and why can't anybody make one of these in Michigan and all that kind of stuff. And the truth is, anybody could make them, but nobody really was at that time. And I had gone through and posted in response to this question as much as I knew. It was like maybe a 1,200 word post that was like, this is what it is and this is where the haze is coming from and all that kind of stuff. And it got a really good response. And at the end of that kind of thread and those responses, I was like, look, man, if you guys want to know more about it, I'll buy the raw materials. Why don't you come out and we'll make one?
Oh, wow.
So we did. And that has turned out to be really successful. The first batch was really good. It didn't nail it. It was a pilot batch. It was the first time we'd done it.
Right.
But the second batch we did, which is what we always call our target batch, really did sort of nail the style. And so that is a beer that we call the M43. It is probably the most talked about beer we've made outside of the Sanders beers. And we're doing, like a canning next Saturday during 4Elf, right? We're trying to catch people coming from Detroit, right, to Marshall. And I guess we can probably talk about Dark Horse a little bit more later. But, anyway, so it's this canning, it's this whole like Krispy Kreme idea of this beer because it has to be as fresh as possible. It's so bright in terms of hops that the edge falls off after, maybe 3 weeks or so. So the idea is, look, we're charging a fair price. Come out. You can see your 4-pack get canned if you want and take it home with you. It's as fresh as you can get it.
Straight off the teat.
Right. And I have some of that here, too, that we can taste whenever you guys want.
Straight off the teat.
Straight off the teat.
That's apparently is how you're supposed to get zombie dust.
Really? I thought it was pretty good.
Zombie
drank it. I don't think we were drinking it off a cow's teat.
You're supposed to go to frickin' what is it, Three Floyds?
Yeah. Three Floyds, buy a case and drink it that night because if it's the next day, it's already fallen.
Buy a case.
The tap is a pacifier.
Buy a case. You'll probably be dead, so don't even worry about the next day.
That's how they get you. That's how they get you to buy 2 cases.